You wake up every day, get into costume, and play a part. You know the lines by heart, you know where you're supposed to stand, but somewhere along the way, you forgot who you're actually supposed to be. There's that quiet, nagging feeling that you're just the understudy in the starring role of your own life. What if I told you that you've been living a script written by someone else? This isn't a movie. This is your life. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the shocking truth about the invisible directors controlling you. And more importantly, we're going to find the first, most crucial step to finally grabbing the pen and writing your own story. Let's be honest for a second. Who are you really? The person your boss sees is probably different from the person your parents know. The version of you that shows up for your friends might be a world away from the person who's left alone with their thoughts at night. The famous psychologist Carl Jung had a name for this: the persona. It's the mask we present to the world, a role we create for social survival and acceptance. It's a conformity mask, and it's one we all wear to some degree. Think about the work you. Maybe that character is cool, calm, and collected, always agreeable and hyper-competent. They smile through meetings even when their brain is screaming. They're the perfect employee, the reliable colleague. But that costume is heavy. Then there's the friend you, who might be effortlessly cool, always ready with a joke, the life of the party, never admitting to feeling weak or insecure. Or maybe it's the family you, the good son or daughter, the supportive sibling, who carefully avoids any topic that might rock the boat. Each of these is a performance, and performing 24/7 is exhausting. The long-term effects of this constant act aren't just fatigue. They can lead to depression, a lack of joy, and even make you more vulnerable to getting sick. It's a deep, soul-level exhaustion. Research shows that when you're not acting like your true self, your brain burns a massive amount of energy just to keep up the act. It's the constant, low-grade anxiety that comes from a fear of being found out. When you live inauthentically, you can feel like an imposter in your own life, which chips away at your self-esteem. Over time, this gap between what you do and what you believe can leave you feeling confused, empty, and unfulfilled. You're surrounded by people, yet you feel totally alone because the person they know isn't the real you. This isn't a personal failure. It's just part of being human in this wild modern world. So if you're just the actor, who's directing the show? Who handed you a script you never even auditioned for? The shocking truth is, there isn't just one director. There are three powerful, invisible forces that have been shaping your performance since day one. The first and most obvious director is society. From the time we're little, we're handed scripts about what success should look like, what a good life is, and what roles we're supposed to play. These pressures make it incredibly hard to just be ourselves. Sociologist Irving Goffman had a great way of putting it called dramaturgy, which basically says that all of social life is one big theatrical performance. We're always on a front stage, managing how we look, what we say, and how we act to fit the scene and the audience. And today, social media has cranked that pressure up to 1,000. It's a non-stop performance where, while curating our lives for likes, comparing our messy backstage reality to everyone else's highlight reel. This pressure to perform an idealized, public version of ourselves makes being genuine feel way more risky. The second director is more personal, your childhood's ghostwriter. Long before you knew how the world worked, you were learning the rules of your own home. Our early family dynamics can push us to create a false self as a way to protect ourselves. We learn super quickly which parts of our personality get us praise and love, and which parts get us disapproval or rejection. We learn to turn down the volume on the parts of us that are too loud, too sensitive, or too different, just to feel safe and like we belong. These become deeply ingrained scripts that we carry into adulthood, often without realizing it. We keep playing the peacemaker or the high achiever long after we've left home, because that's the character we learned we had to be loved. But the third director is the trickiest and most powerful of all. It's the critic in your own mind. This one operates from the inside, using your own psychology against you. Its favorite tool? A crippling fear of judgment. This is one of the biggest reasons we don't live authentically. Our brains are naturally wired to pay more attention to threats and negative feedback than to praise. This makes the fear of being misunderstood or kicked out of the group feel like a real survival threat. So, in a desperate attempt to get approval and avoid being rejected, we betray our own values and silence our own truths. We get so scared of what other people might think that we'd rather live with the quiet misery of being a fraud than risk the loud discomfort of someone disapproving of us. And just like that, we hand over the pen, letting our inner critic write a script based on fear, not on what we truly want. So, how do you fire these directors? How do you finally break free from a script that's making you sick, tired, and unfulfilled? It's actually simpler than you might think. It doesn't start with some big, dramatic gesture. You don't have to quit your job or move across the country tomorrow. The journey back to your authentic self, the very first step to rewriting your script, starts with one quiet practice: radical self-honesty through self-awareness. So many of us don't even know who we are anymore because life is so busy it rarely gives us a moment to breathe and reflect. We're disconnected from our own inner compass. Being authentic means you have to be willing to be vulnerable and open with yourself first. So, the first step isn't to change anything. It's just to notice. Here's your first assignment. For the next 24 hours, I want you to just be a neutral observer of your own life. No judging, no analyzing, no fixing. Just notice. Notice the moments when you feel a sense of ease, lightness, or flow. Maybe it's when you're driving alone, screaming the lyrics to your favorite song. Maybe it's when you're lost in a creative project and time just disappears. Or maybe it's in a quiet chat with a friend where you feel completely seen. That feeling, that sense of expansion and peace, is a breadcrumb. It's a clue from your authentic self. Then, notice the opposite. Notice the moments you feel a subtle tension. A slight clench in your gut when you're about to speak in a meeting. A forced smile when you agree to do something you don't want to. That feeling of being drained after hanging out with certain people. That feeling of contraction, of being off, is also a clue. That tension is the space between the role you're playing and the person you really are. This simple act of noticing is more powerful than it sounds. It helps you become aware of when you're acting out of habit and when you're acting from a place of authentic choice. You're just gathering data, no judgment needed. You're learning to tell the difference between the voice of your inner critic and the quiet whisper of your true self. This is the foundation. Before you can write a new story, you have to read the one you're living right now. This is a journey, and you don't have to take it alone. As you start noticing, I want to create a space where we can share what we're learning. So, let me know in the comments below. After paying attention, what is one small role, one tiny piece of the costume you're wearing, that you think you can let go of this week? Is it the need to have an opinion on everything? The pressure to always be on? The role of the person who always says yes? Sharing it makes it real and helps other people feel like they can do it too. For years, maybe your whole life, you've been performing a role from a script you didn't write, directed by society, your past, and your own fears. But the real truth is that those directors only have the power you give them. You are not the part you are playing. You are not the mask you wear. The path back to yourself doesn't start with a bang, but with a whisper. It begins with the brave, quiet act of simply paying attention. By noticing the gap between feeling tense and feeling at ease, between performing and just being present, you start to take your power back. You begin to find the thread of your own story. Your true script has been waiting for you this whole time. It's time to step off their stage and onto your own. It's time to become the author of your life.